So earlier, Nintendo showed off a 10-minute preview of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and the game looks absolutely amazing. It looks so fun, looks marvelous, game of the year most likely. So one of the few things you see in the gameplay, the new stuff, is the Sky Islands, and they look fun. The new explorable areas across all of Hyrule. That's one of the big differences between the first and second game. And then it shows you how you can get up there. So in this case, a rock fell down from the Sky Island. So you go to where the rock landed, and then you use one of the new abilities that you see called Recall, where it reverses the time for that said object. So in this case, since the rock fell from the Sky Island, it'd take you back up to the Sky Island, which is really cool. And then as you see, once he gets to that island, there's multiple islands together. You can glide to them, and it looks so fun to go explore each island. That's really cool. So it's the same as the original game where you pick up items as you go on. So as you see, he grabs a tree branch, and then he fights one of the new enemies in the game called Constructs. And then as we also see as he's fighting it, item durability is back into play. So after he defeats this enemy, a cool thing that we see is an ability called Fuse, which is really cool. So in this case, he combines a rock and a stick to make a hammer, so it has more durability and more damage now. So that's really cool for, like, instead of grabbing tree branches all the time, you can now make them into useful items, which is really cool. So in another instance, you have a long stick and a pitchfork. So if you combine them, now you have extra reach, so you can do damage from a safer distance, which is really cool. So then moving on, it also shows what you can do with arrows now. So in this case, an arrow, you get an arrow and an ice element. You fuse it together, you shoot at the enemy, and it now freezes them. Then another combination you can do is get an eyeball with another arrowhead. You aim it at, in this case, a bird he's hunting. He'll do a homing attack on it, which is really cool. Makes hunting so much easier, especially on the birds. Really cool. And then another thing you can do is you can fuse with the shield also. So in this case, he puts a mushroom on it. He goes to the construct enemy. The construct enemy hits him. Now there's a smoke screen. Now you can do a surprise attack, which is really cool. Changes up the gameplay mechanics of combat in Legend of Zelda. And then fusing weapons isn't the only thing. We also see him make a raft to get across a body of water. He grabs 3 logs and 2 fans, and it can just go. And it's so freaking cool that they added this, I'm telling you. Then he also states, in past trailers, the vehicles that we saw, the car and the flying machine, you make those. You don't get them in the beginning of the game. So it shows what else can we make? What can we do with the new fusing ability that we can do? It just looks so freaking fun to do. There's even more abilities that they show off. Something called Ascend. So if you go into a room and there's a ceiling, you ascend, you appear on the roof of that room, the ceiling, which is really cool. And to show off how cool this ability can be, he goes into a cave, and then he ascends and he appears on top of the hill. So now, if that's just a hill and it's a cave in a mountain, you can ascend to the top of the mountain, which is so cool. Nice quality of life also. So now no more climbing so much, now you can just ascend. But obviously the caveat is there has to be a ceiling. So which is a nice good balance, I would say, between the two. So now also, as we see, even enemies can have fused weapons. So you can fight the same enemy, but depending on the fused weapon that they have, it would change the gameplay, the fights for each enemy. So in this case, this enemy can blow Link back. So we see he knocks him off the island. So now this gets into the other portion of what we can do. You can get off the islands and go back down to the surface. You can look around, glide where you want to see, go where you see, go wherever. But so in this case, he just goes down. But to travel faster on your way down, you can dive to a certain pinpointed area that you can do, which is just really, really cool. So then he talks a little bit more after, and then it just shows, thanks for watching, and then the game comes out in May. And he also confirmed that the game has practically gone gold. Development is done for the game, which is so good. No delays, no nothing. This game looks so fun. It's probably gonna win Game of the Year most likely. Granted, this year is stacked, but it's most likely gonna win Game of the Year. It looks so good. And then this is just some of the differences they showed off. There's still some differences that we don't even know. And then even with the differences they did show us, is what can we do now with all the abilities that we have now, especially the fuse. I can't wait to see what we can make with the fuse now. Like what vehicles, what items, weapons, like looks so fun. This game is gonna be amazing. I'm so excited. Please let me know what you guys think. Till next time, see ya.